to World Collage Day 2021. Since collage is one of my favorite topics of all time, I wanted to mark this occasion by giving a free tutorial on some things I enjoy with collage and some things that I do with the stencil papers that I make all the time. This is Mary Beth Shaw from Stencilgirl Products, and I'm glad you're taking the time to watch this video. I've got to share something funny. My mom sent me this. It's apparently the first collage I ever made when I was a kid. Cracks me up. I don't know when I made it, but I was even using some three-dimensional elements and using house shapes in a less than traditional way. So what I want to show you today, though, is something that I do quite a bit, and I've had a lot of fun with it, and I thought you might too. If you've been following me or Stencilgirl for any period of time, you know that I am always painting papers using our stencils and embellishing them, and I paint on ledgers, I paint on tissue, I just whatever. And then I literally save these masses of papers along with other ephemera that I like this little ticket stub, this napkin piece, mark making, tissue, ledger, etc. People ask me, what do you do with all this stuff? Well, this is what I used to make my art with. Years ago, I taught a class called Parts is Parts, and it was all about making these parts that we use in our work. And when we work this way, it enables you to assemble things so quickly and make something kind of cool in a shorter period of time. It also, and this is my favorite part, it lets you disengage your brain during the part making process, and you can be free and easy and just have so much fun, which is why I like it. Here's what I like to do. I take these hand painted and or ephemera parts and I make these small collages with them, such as what I'm showing you right here. And then I keep these on hand, and when I have a need for something that's perhaps a focal point in my work, or even like this one, a greeting card, I go ahead and I look in my stash and I have the ingredients I need to quickly put something together. I'm going to set these aside and give you an idea of how we might start doing this. I like to keep blank index cards on hand. These are very inexpensive paper index cards. I just get them at the dollar store, and you can use this as your background, or if you have a larger piece, like this is a larger, heavier piece, this could be the background itself. So that's one of two ways that you can start. I typically just use a glue stick, and if I have a heavier element, I'll use a white glue. I don't want to overcomplicate it, okay? So what I've done here is I've gathered colors that kind of go together. And then over here, I've gathered colors that kind of go together. And this would be a great way for me to start. I would start within a color scheme, and that gives me a lot of leeway. And then I go from there. Sometimes what I also do is I will stitch instead of using a glue stick. So if you are a person who is handy with a sewing machine, you might want to do it that way. I tend to do hand stitching just because, well, I might have broken my mom's sewing machine back in the day, and I remember that. There are certainly options. All right, so let's take a look at what we have here and see if we can get started. I think I'm in a green mood today. Now this is interesting how this is cut up, so I do like to have an interesting little part. This is something where I was playing with distress ink. Look at how cool that looks, right? So this is where you can just, oh look, it's two-sided, right? So I could go any which way I wanted. All right, you just need to start, okay? Don't think too much about it because you don't want to let your brain get in the way. And I mean, all we're doing is gluing stuff together with a glue stick, right? How fun is that? I like it when I'm making these parts to have things that hang over the edges and so forth. I don't like to work in, you know, like a square or a rectangle, but I like these things like this that are a little bit more interesting when you glue them down onto something else. I think that that's a lot of fun. So I'm going to just start gluing some of these down and see where we go. And hopefully this will inspire you to perhaps take a look at some of your collection of painted papers or ephemera, and maybe you can put them together and make something fun that you might tend to use in something else. I love having these on hand. Look at this one. You know, people might think that's a piece of garbage. That's not garbage in my book. Because look at that dash of color, how that changes everything about this. It adds quite a nice value change. This is part of a tea bag. So maybe we could put that there, or maybe underneath here. Ooh, I think I like that under there. And you know what I especially like about this is it has a little hole in the tea bag, so that's kind of cool. You can take these and you can cut them down. You know, you could always just cut around the edge. You can make all sorts of different optional shapes out of what you have going on. Straight edges, curvy edges, whatever. I think I'm going to just start another one while I'm here, right? Because why not? This is a magazine page. This is a piece of vellum that I had done some journal writing on. Once you get started with this, you'll just be, or at least I think, at least I am, you'll be a little bit obsessed with it because it's fun. It gives you a lot of freedom to really play. And for me, that is what makes art making so wonderful, is when I can just let go and play and I don't have to think too much about the outcome. That's my favorite part of the art making process. This is a little sticker I made. Here's some other parts. This would take us into another color because you've got that pink there, but you know what? Why not? You might have your own ideas about how you want these to turn out, and you know, maybe you prefer to work in more of a structure such as these, where they were more on a grid and I laid them down methodically and glued them together. It's very fun to do that type of work as well. This has a little bit of glitter on it, which you gotta love. Girl loves her glitter. The thing about doing this is when I'm making the parts, I don't have anything in mind. I don't have any clue as to what I might use these for in the future. I just am literally playing around and creating these tiny works that could be incorporated into my journal. They could be incorporated into actual wall hanging art, or who knows what. And I think that that's what frees up the process to make these, you know, is that you aren't really thinking about an outcome per se. This is a very textured piece I did. I like it because it is textured. You can actually feel it there, and it's kind of nice to incorporate a little bit of texture. Look at that white edge. There's all sorts of things you can think about as you're making these, and ways to glue things together and to make them look interesting. You can follow the line of the stencil texture and cut out something different. Let's cut a hole out here in the middle. Very much like getting involved with play and creativity in a way where reminds us of when we were children. And I think that's probably why I do love collage so much. And it's so ironic that that piece that my mom found is of something I made as a child. Now that's kind of interesting. Maybe it would be better like that so I can get this. I don't know. See, I'm going into my brain again. All right. In a very short period of time, I've already made a few things here that I kind of like. Now, if you are a doodler, you can go back and doodle on top of these. You could paint over them. You could add them to each other and create something bigger. The sky's virtually the limit here. And then check out all these that you're left with. I mean, I don't know how far you want to take it, but there are some interesting smalls here that I might keep for my next parts making or tiny collage or whatever you want to call it session. So celebrate World Collage Day. Get out some scraps, glue them together, make some stuff, have some fun, and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mary Beth Shaw from Stencilgirl Products.